moving on to the blue game.
Yeah, now onto the blue game.
Play for Gizelharts Chosen with Mikkel and Ryan. I'm the blue player, and this is our second KOTE competition. So we entered KOTE 7, and now we're on 8. And I chose this deck, this 66 SAS deck, because it's one of my favourite decks. It's a KOTE deck, and it plays really smooth, easy to play, has lots of steel on it, and the Sanctums are pretty good at holding the battle line with some protectrix that helps to heal the battle line up. And I think got a little sneaky key charge in that one as well, in the Untamed. So overall, it's one of the decks that I really enjoy playing with, just because it's, like I say, quite silky smooth. That's the reason why I chose this one. I had a quick look. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's going to be, it feels like it'd be a fairly even match. When I had a quick look at it, I've done no practicing against that particular deck. All I've done is practice my deck against other higher SAS decks, and it seems to hold out quite well. So I'm quietly confident that it's going to hold its own in this match, and hopefully it'll get it over, get me over the line. Really. No, I don't, because that can backfire. So no, I just wish us both the best of luck and skills, and let's just enjoy it. And whoever wins, that's like the cherry on top. So yeah, I'm quite, keenly competitive, but not to the point where I I'll put out a message there.
Yeah, so I'm from Poland, and from Gdańsk team Smrodyle, Tricity, and we don't have actually made so much games, tournaments as a team, but we call us like that. And my deck, I think it's the first one good in this tournament. So I hope I can win that. But we made some trainings, and it actually didn't go well. So we'll see. A strong board, I think, is the biggest problem. Yeah, we played a few games, but most of them I lost. So we'll see. I can wish him good luck.
I mean, do it if you got it. I'll pull up the loot.
We'll do it at the end.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do it at the end if you can kind of pull it up as we're going here. All right, we have the blue matchup, and we have Book 6, the Quite Pretend for Tricity, and then we have Queen's Darkstorm's Minor for Gizelharts Chosen. So I'll let you break down your deck first here.
Sure. So this deck, we were talking about speed before. First thing I see is double Battle Fleet, which is always a great thing to see in a deck.
And Ramid.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and plus you get the Mega Mouth. I mean, this is an interesting Mars house. I think I wish it had one more thing going for it. I know that might be a selfish thing to ask for. The Battle Fleet's fantastic though. Mm-hmm. The rest of the Mars is just like throwing stuff on the board and trying to control that. The Zizix the Many, I think, could be an interesting card in this matchup. The Shadows is fantastic. I think that was great. The Too Much to Protect plus Relentless Whispers, 2 Naughty to Thieves, 2 Old Brunos, 2 Shadow Selves. Like that is a really tightly built Shadows house. And the Booby Trap will help you get out of some boards, tricky board situations. But obviously, it's got some of those big hitters and shadows where it's going to control the game as far as amber totals and stuff like that. Subtle Maul to take a card out of your hand. I love that card, quite frankly. But the Thief, if you can't move them, that's going to be a problem all game, especially if they're next to Shadow Selves. If you're protecting them like that. Now the Untamed is interesting because it's more of a board control kind of Untamed than it is a Amber generation straight up. Between the Lost in the Woods, the Maneuver, Cooperative Hunting, Fog Bank, Save the Pack, which Save the Pack is normally not a great card, but when you pair it with Cooperative Hunting, you're selecting what you want to die, basically. And you're playing a board clear for a chain. And then obviously the Nepenthe Seed, which is going to make you can play things like you can bring things like Miasma or Too Much to Protect back to your hand. Or if you're in the middle of a big Mars turn and you're getting greedy, you want to play Battlefleet a few times, go for it.
That's the combo, I think.
Yeah, you're playing Battlefleet 3 times on a Mars turn, and all of a sudden your hand is humongous, and then you can just do whatever you want, right? And the rest of the Untamed, a couple again, it is similar a little bit to the Shadows, where it's 3 Niffle Apes, Flaxia, Dust Pixie, Ancient Bear, just kind of populate the board as quickly as possible, and try to get some of that Amber generation. So this is, I think this is a great deck. I think it's going to control a lot of games, and it's going to, and like you said, that big play with the Battlefleet and the Nepenthe Seed, like that, if they can maneuver that, right, because it's not a guarantee, I think, but if they can get that going, that would be a pretty broken amount of pressure to deal with.
I mean, that combo is fantastic. It turns it from a 2 to a 3 Battlefleet deck, but you're guaranteed to draw your second Battlefleet. Right, because it's you're gonna use the first one for 4 card draw, and then you're gonna Nepenthe it. If you get lucky, you're gonna Nepenthe Seed it back, and then you're gonna have another at least 4 cards.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's at a point where
that connects you to the third, right?
Right, exactly. It connects you to the third, and it's just creating so much efficiency in the deck, period, that you're at a point where you're redrawing the Nepenthe Seed. You know what I mean? That's when the deck really starts to get unfair, kind of thing.
Yeah, you might redraw it on the next hit, because you're gonna be drawing. It depends how many Mars cards you draw, right? But you're gonna
chances are you're into it, yeah.
Yeah, depending on when you're cycling deck and stuff. Yeah, and that would be the combo. You would have to use it for the second. You'd have to use it in lieu of your second Battlefleet.
Right.
Unless, of course, is there a crazy thing where it's you Battlefleet and you connect into your second one? You use both, then you Nepenthe it back for the third. Perhaps you've connected back into your first.
You could get the other Battlefleet. If it's
if you're super lucky.
What you'd have to be is both super lucky and or if you're, I'm trying to think, if you're super early in the game and you've got a loaded Mars hand, right, and you Battlefleet and you get the other one and you Battlefleet again, even then though, I guess you're still at you'd be at a 18 card hand,
right? Yeah, no, it's sick. I'm just it's sick either way.
That's certainly not a bad thing. Yeah, so I think, but yes, there are definitely ways where you could. I suppose it would have to be later in the game where you're cycling your deck, right, and you're getting it down. But yeah, that's the fact that that's on the table is extremely intimidating
for a 66 cap event.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move to mine. We're obviously in love with broken Mars combos here at Swindle. So we have Queen Dark Slums Miner, and you have the Doorstep to Heaven with the Glorious Few, which is really nice. And then we've got Triple Protectrix, which I found is a really underrated card. So when I was piloting Aurora's deck, Vazi, it's got, I think, double Protectrix, and the permanence that gives a Sanctum board is really, really underrated in terms of just healing, or if something is already damaged, you can start fighting without taking damage. And of course you have the Numquid to help you out with the rest of the board, which is essentially if you're in some kind of board inequitable situation, which is definitely going to come out. Definitely going to come out when somebody has a triple double Battle Fleet and a Pen Seed deck, you're probably going to end up getting a little board swarmed, and it might be like the answer. Bait and switch, bring back pre-errata, please. But Finishing Blow, again, lights out. Finishing Blow, a really underrated card as far as just like, getting the steal, knocking something off. It's got the Nerve Blast and the Relentless Whispers to do that damage first, if needed, which is always nice. Silent Dagger. All right, so you're like doing your stealing with the Urchin. It's a pretty like, it's sort of a mundane Shadows, but at the same time, every single card is good.
Yeah, I quite like it actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, especially the Finishing Blow, I think you're right that it's kind of underrated. And Lights Out in this matchup could be pretty great.
I particularly like Nerve Blast plus Finishing Blow, where it's like you kind of one into the other is just really, really nice. And so like so far you've got a Sanctum that can really board and also respond to big boards, which is pretty rare in terms of like, it doesn't just need to have the good hand first, like it can wipe your board and get Triple Protectress and the Raiding Knight and the Staunch Knight out. And then you've got Untamed, which, you've got your Key Charge and your Mimicry. Unfortunately, you can't Mimicry like a Battle Fleet to actually, like, you're totally not helped out there by your opponent's best card. Again, we'll get to specific matchups mostly in a second, but I think that that's actually like a good transition point. The Untamed is sort of pedestrian, even though it does have the Lost in the Woods and the Mimicry and the Key Charge. So, yeah, so first thing in the matchup, I don't know if there's any way that my deck can win because essentially the card quality is the same, but you have an absolutely explosive play and I don't.
It's interesting. I feel like it's surprising, but I think your deck actually has a shot. I think the Battlefield play is huge, but like thinking about the other cards in the deck, there's like not enough generating happening, and I think that Mimicry could be pretty big. Now you're right though that like with the Pen Seed, even if they're not doing the Battle Fleet play, which is totally broken, the Pen Seed is going to be able to get them like 2 miasmas or too much to protect, which could be pretty bad. But I don't know.
What am I hitting with the Mimicry though?
I mean, you're hitting their too much to protect or their miasma or that kind of thing. I agree that it would be fantastic if they could hit a Battle Fleet, right? Like that would be ideal.
Well, I mean, it just doesn't feel like I'm getting a lot of advantage off of Mimicry, which you really hope to do here. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think that Sanctum House shows up to play. I really do.
It's a very nice Sanctum House, and it can respond to a big explosive hand. And like, if you can deflate, like if Uxix just goes off with the Battle Fleet play, populates the board massively, and then you just kind of Nuncoid to get it back even, you could maybe negate that tempo. But it's really like it's a very kind of narrow win con, I think. I could be wrong. Is there any like more sneaky stealing that I'm missing? So, well, one good response that I have is the Glorious Few. In addition to the Nuncoid, so I can negate tempo. I can also get a huge Amber Rush, and you don't have a ton of control.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it does have control, but if like even one of those Battle Fleets is buried, I think it's a very different game.
That's true. We're kind of assuming that it goes off, but
yeah, I could imagine hands that are just basically slower than what Queen Darkslum's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like
I just think it's more 50-50. But I agree that like the double Battle Fleet and the Pen Seed, like that's much more intimidating.
I guess like what I was getting at though is that the decks look essentially comparable quality to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then one has a totally explosive blow up play. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So it's like you have to at least put that at like 75-25 then, because it's like
And yet, as we know, we'll always bring out the 25%
Oh my god.
outcome.
There is something about this tournament that gives the unlikely outcome just some kind of boost. Hashtag, like TCO is rigged, right? Like, but no, I think
I
that
think you're right.
I think that Tricity has like a game there that they can reliably count on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're back. So, thank you for the Swindle for doing the reviews this week. We really appreciate it. We'll look forward to you doing the next week as well.
General Flexia again. What madness is this? It's, yeah, if it works. Oh, he mulliganed to win the Turtle Flexia. Who does that? So we see sort of Maul is probably going to answer with a grub. Discards key charge, which was probably one of his best win conditions, but gets the grubbing down. And now we see. No, I've got a little combination here. Safe place. I guess that's just kind of an amber pip. You're not going to be really using it because that Gasping Vines, as we've seen in chat, is a big counter. Mooseberg Wings plays Niffle Queen. What? Now, Squiggle here wants Twala to go too far ahead because of how much stealing is in hand. And we see Kyla Phantom now in hand as well. There's Dust Pixie, Nocturnal Maneuver, get rid of Amber, and now we see there's a free Amber gap, which is more than enough to take advantage of here with Bait and Switch. She's going to steal 2, Urchin steal another one. Urchin will steal 1 more. Drop Kyla Phantom, and I guess you play the Fatal Blow. Yeah, you don't know when you're going to go next into Shadows. But it does draw more Shadows, so it might have been good to hold it because you can get a little bit of play. Fogbank Cooperative Hunting is going to wipe out the 3 Shadows. Could have been good either way there. But Squiggle does get the first key. Relentless Whispers gets rid of the Dust Pixie. Plays. And then, yeah, the Noddy Thief will have to be dealt with. We see Bullet Eye and Fagin in hand for Squiggle here. Doesn't get rid of the Noddy, so this is probably going to be another Shadows turn coming from Troll. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would say if I did it, I'd do Sanctums because you know me, I prioritise the most cards. But as you say, Eastern Shadows, giving sort of Noddy the Thief down there, it makes sense.
It sets up the Bullet Eye, it sets up the Fagin, which has got the 2 Urchins in discard, which is going to be really good. And although it's the most efficient play to get rid of the 3 Sanctum cards, it's only a 1 card difference.
You're right. But if in doubt, I always argue go with the majority.
Plays get rid of Noddy the Thief, so it does get rid, but it means that Bullet Eye can come. Yeah, go Shadows again, perfect. Bullet Eye, destroy Noddy, reap for Fagin, get the Urchin, play the Urchin, and get up to 5. Now we do see that Twala has got answers here. Save the pack will not really do. Ammonia Clouds is going to wipe the board here. Megamouth, Reaper Think Drone, archives the Think Drone to keep it safe. Deals 1 damage to Niffle Queen and then wipes the board, dealing keeping 4 damage on Niffle Queen, which save the pack will get rid of next turn. But Nimcod the Fair will come down now, which is going to get rid of Megamouth. You see Protectrix come down and take the hostage just to get to 6 because there is no answer. But thanks to safe place, we do see Twala forging the first key. Lost in the Woods. We see Glorious Few in the hand for Squiggle here. This could be huge.
It will be, I think.
Goes Untamed. Gonna Lost in the Woods the creatures away. Excellent. Fogbank just for the Amber. Drops the Mimicry. What do you copy here?
I don't know. I can't remember what there was.
Copies Miasma. Doesn't really matter, but Mimicry into Miasma.
It gets the Amber. Yep.
Discards Gromid. Plays Blip. Plays the Elixir. Plays Think Drone. And now Glorious Few gets Squiggle on check. And then drops it on down. And we can see the old Bruno in hand, which will keep Trawler in the game. But there is going to be enough Sanctum guys to come down and punch old Bruno in the face.
Vicious for handsome bastards. I mean,
Triple
people.
Niffle Ape in hand. Is Trawler the reason that we had so many Niffle Apes in the last few rounds?
It wouldn't surprise me. All 33 are in his deck.
Fight score. Yeah, there we go. Reap, heal. Reap, heal. There's nothing really to heal. So Too Much to Protect is gonna get some value at the end. We're gonna see the Too Much to Protect get the 2 Amber Steel, but there's nothing to follow it up, and it is gonna be a complete reversal of the captain's game, 3-1 to Gizelharts Chosen. Yeah, Gromid is definitely a swing game, very well played. That wraps it up to 1-1. Gizelharts Chosen do not have a bye.